Okay, so I wasn't going to actually do a video of this, but I figured it'd be interesting to show at least the symptoms. Look what's going on with the background of my Gorf. I've been messing with this for... Damn, I just got shocked. Static electricity. I've been messing with this for a little while. And I don't know what's going on with it. You see those little weird lines right there? The game kind of plays fine, but I'm wondering, I don't know what that is. Is that the pattern board? The other thing is my Space Cadet light is not lit up. Every other light I think works. There's a ROM. Version 2 of the ROM allows you to actually test that in the test mode. And so I think in this video I might as well go ahead and upgrade the ROMs if I can. And then also pull this board, fix the Space Cadet light, and obviously we got, what the hell is that? We gotta fix that. What's weird is that the next screen, let's see if I can get to the next screen here. Uh-oh. Alright.
Space Cadet, try again.
So it's only that screen that looks messed up. So let me go to the, let me see if I can film to see what else I got to the next screen. And the background looks normal. So I don't think this is a voltage issue. This has got to be a ROM or a pattern board or potentially RAM, I guess. I got it too loud, probably can't hear me. Yeah, see now I got some weird lines on this one too. Right. Yeah, I love the voice here. It's rare to get actually one of these things that actually works. So anyway, I went through, I verified power. It's around 4.9 volts, and what I'm going to do is just some maintenance activity. I'm going to go ahead and repin all those headers, connectors out. I might even replace the headers themselves as well as the connectors, and then we're going to go from there because I just want to make sure everything's super nice and stable and clean and all that. All right, I repinned. Yeah, it's powered off. Just make sure. I repinned that connector down there. I didn't use a new connector. I just removed the pins and. It is a lot better here. I might actually take out this cage and put a new header on it too, but that's not really the issue. I also put a new connector here and repin that out, and because the connector that was on there, it must have been already replaced. And the pin out job was terrible, so I don't know who was working on it before, but and then kept the same connector here but just repinned everything out. Anyway, so that didn't change anything, but what I did notice is this right here was just plugged in, or this wire was just stuck in there. I didn't notice that before. I hadn't really looked at this cabinet too much. And what's funny is you probably can't see it, but there's actually where there's a key there's actually a pin stuck into where the key is. Can you see that? I don't know, it's so weird. So I'm trying to figure out where this actually yellow wire goes right there. So we'll figure that out. I also want to replace the ROMs on this board to version 2. So I'll take this out and do that. And I'm thinking what else? And maybe we'll use the test ROM as well to check it out. So that's nice. Right, you can see that Gorf Diagnostics version 2006, Mark Spaeth. Press fire for SRAM test. It says DRAM test failed, slot 5, chip 01. So that could be our issue there. It said so it looks maybe like the SRAM test was fine and the DRAM test failed. Alright, so that's what we'll do. We'll try to figure out what that means, what board that is, and then take that out. Okay, I put the version 2 ROMs in there, and you can see that I still have some weird graphics issues and stuff. So, but let's put it in test mode because the test mode of version 2 is a little bit different. let's see here.
It comes up with this X. You can see here that the space rankings will flash to verify if they work. So this one isn't working. I have this one in, it's not working, then Space Captain's out. So, and we also see this X here. The test ROM also says, there we go. That's weird. Those lines right there actually indicate a little bit that there could be an issue, I think, is what the test ROM. I might have to get the directions back again. Let me let's see here. Oh, I guess you have to reset the damn thing. All right, let me reset it. It just went back to normal. I guess I didn't have to reset it. So let's hit the test switch again. And the test ROM says that if it comes up with lines on the screen, it indicates like one of the SRAMs are bad or whatever. So this is indicating that there is no bad RAM issues. So I've messed with the lights here a little bit. I still have an issue with Space Cadet. That could be that yellow wire that we have that's not working there. But I've replaced a bulb and got the other ones working there. The other thing is with this test ROM, every time you press a button, one of those those little squares there will disappear. And for any switch, I mean, so that's the switch test. If I didn't say it already, the X indicates this is version 2 of the ROM. That's not an error, it's just indicating that we're on version 2. And then down here, it says that the following things are done when on this version 2 ROM when you place it into test mode. Removes all accumulated credits, tests the screen RAMs, tests the static RAMs, tests all switches. If a screen RAM is defective, random vertical bars will flash on the screen. We kind of saw that, but it's not consistent. It doesn't stay up there. So it kind of looks like it might be saying there's a screen RAM problem, but it doesn't. It's not consistent. If a static RAM is defective, random dotted pattern will flash on the screen. If all RAMs are good, the switch test pattern will appear. So we get the switch test pattern, but we also get those flashing random vertical lines. So I don't know. This is obviously as good as the MarkSpace test ROM. It also says that after you turn the test switch to off, you have to wait 25 seconds for it to go back to normal game mode. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's go back into normal game mode. We'll see it. Wait like about 25 seconds. And we should go back. There we go. Alright, so we still have a RAM issue and some issue with the Space Cadet light there. So we'll look at that.
Well, actually, it didn't take long to figure this out because look at this wire is pretty thick. This yellow wire. So I just looked at the wire harness and found it right there, traced it up, and it's right. If you can see it, it's right there on the RGB interface card. So that could be part of our problem. It's pin 1, could be a ground or something else, I'm not sure, but that could, it's obviously not good. So let me figure out where that goes and repin it out on this connector.
Well, my faded schematics here aren't going to help us any because you can barely read jack. But I did look up online, and that yellow cable goes from the game logic board pin 17 to pin 1 right there. So alright, so we're gonna
fix that. I actually myself didn't do a great job crimping it. That's a big wire for a small 0.100 connector, but it's in there. I verified continuity. Just powered it on. See what we get here. Still same, looks like the same graphics issue that we saw before.
Push a player button. Robot warriors, CL destroy us base target.
Yep, same issue.
So I'm not sure. I guess I'll go back to putting the test RAM in. It's either I can try swapping out the game board. I have because I have 2 of these board sets, but my other game board has bad customs on it, so I can swap the customs and put the other game board in. I already tried a different pattern board that I know to be working, and we know it's not the ROM board because I've gone back and forth, and the test ROM kind of gives me weird errors. So maybe I'll try the game board first, and then we'll go back to the test ROM thing, because that test ROM I'm not super confident in yet. So all right, I swapped the customs. One thing for those that haven't worked on these is that these 2 customs are the same, so you can actually put them in different spots. I can't remember. I have a different thread where I think as long as you have X2 working, you'll actually get the game to boot. I think it's X2. So if you're ever in doubt, you don't know if you have a bad one, just swap them. The other thing is this socket's not great. I could just hear it kind of creaking a little bit, so I'm not feeling great about this one. I know this board worked because I actually replaced all the header pins there before, and I know I tested this at some point with good customs. So let me put this in the game. I got it, the game board connected, and the connectors there. I need to connect that strain relief there, but anyway, there's always a risk in doing this. Like if this game board's bad, maybe I could blow those customs and then be screwed, but you know, no risk, no reward. Alright, so the game's booting. Boom. The issue's on the game board somewhere. Look at that. It's fixed. I don't know what's the issue on the game board, but it's definitely an issue on the game board. Well, now my speech isn't working. Maybe that speech chip doesn't work. Well, nope, there. I still have that weird crap going on there. My speech isn't working as the same. So maybe let me swap the speech chip and see if I get the speech working, just to verify that the speech chip's bad or good. Alright, replace that speech chip. No idea if that speech chip is good or bad. I thought it was good actually when I tested it before. It's weird that the little glitch here in the intro is fixed by swapping the game board. Or maybe it's something just with the custom or something. Something's up with this game board because the speech isn't working 100%, so wacky. I figured out on this other game board, you know, I figured I'd replace the sockets, and the other one came out kind of similar to this one. I mean, all I did is desolder. It's pretty clean, but when I pulled the socket out, I mean, it's just all the pins are kind of like still there. It's kind of weird, and I barely applied any pressure. I mean, these come right out, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of weird. Makes me think that maybe the socket is pretty bad or something. So anyway, we'll see if it fixes it. All right, I have this is game board number 2, and I'm getting a little off track because now we're investigating the sound issue on this game board too, but whatever. I'm only going to do this one test, and then we'll go back to the original problem. So I have my customs from game board 1 and my sound chip from game board 1, and on this one I had previously replaced all the header pins on there. So, and let's see if there's any other difference. So so let's put this in. I think, you know, our sound issue is still going to be there, and we've ruled out the sound chip, I think, at this point. But let's put it. All right, got everything plugged in.
So it's weird that with this game board, I'm not getting that that black streaking on the initial screen there. So maybe the other game board does have a slight issue, but I'm still having some graphics issues. And I'm not getting my sound on this one, where it's not playing correctly. And I still get that. So it might be two different issues. You know, what's causing that initial graphics issue, and then what's causing this graphics issue. So weird stuff.
I'm really going off the rails here on my initial troubleshooting, but on this game board too, I put the customs back in, and for shits and giggles, went ahead and put it in the cabinet, and I got these obviously aren't fully bad. I mean, something's wrong with them, I think, but they're not completely bad, which makes me think that maybe cleaning the pins or replacing the sockets have definitely helped somehow. I figured what I'd do, I would just put this in the cabinet so you can see what's going on. But I have hope for these customs now. But let me put this game board 2 in the cabinet and just film that, and then I'm putting it aside.
Game board 2 with its what I marked was bad customs. Let's see what we got here.
I mean, it definitely something going on with it, but the game is booting, which is shocking. Maybe one of the customs is bad and the other one's not as bad. And the sound doesn't sound great. Like, it's not as loud. Like one of the channels isn't working. And it's making weird noises, if you can hear that. So, but it's actually playing, which is weird. If I put it in test mode, see what happens. Nothing. There's test mode right there. And I'm not getting the cycling on my space lamp. So test mode isn't working fully either. So anyway, there's some I think one of the customs has to be at least good. So I might work on that later at the end of the video.
All right, I'm back at the bench, and what I figured I'd do, I pulled out the whole cage, and what I'm going to do is just kind of re-level set. I'm going to actually pull all the cards out, clean the edge connectors, put a new, just because I have the cage out at this point, I'm going to put in a new header there on the power supply, make sure the solder's good, clean the, what do you want to call that right there, where the cards insert the, is that the edge connector? And this is the card edge. Yeah, that's the edge connector, I guess, and this is the card edge. So I'm going to clean all that out, deox it and stuff. Use some either eraser or maybe some contact cleaner and a Scotch-Brite pad and stuff like that, and get any oxidation out. So I'm going to redo that, and then we'll put the whole the original card set back in. All right, everything back the way we had it. Cleaned all the edge connectors, put all the original boards back in, replaced that header there. I also cleaned the whole thing up a little bit. So let's put it in and see where we're at. Hopefully I didn't make things worse.
Everything's plugged back in, got my power in, and let's power it on. Cross your fingers. I'm in test mode. Alright, well that's good. Let me get it out of test. Takes a few, out of test it should take a few seconds, and then it should go. There we go. Alright, we still have that little weird graphic, and we know that that's got to be on the game board somewhere. That's causing that.
Long live Gorf.
And our sound's working.
Dorky and robots. Attack.
Okay, so our symptoms are basically the same right now. We're back to where we were. So, you know, it's not power related. It's not connector related. There's something on the game board that's causing that weird graphic glitch, because when I swap in the other game board, it's not there. And there's got to be, I would think, something in the memory that's causing those horizontal lines across, I would think. Or maybe that's on, it can't be on the game board because it's the same across both game boards. All right. The first test I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, I think Dave Turner's test ROM, the original Gorf test ROM that was run, and then we'll put in Mark's base.
All right, what we got here? It says Gorf video memory test. Press player 1 button to start. And I know that there's a difference. Mark rewrote this entire thing, except for maybe the background screen there or something. But in Mark's, it tests the SRAM and the DRAM and doesn't rely on the SRAM. And Dave's, or Commander Dave, it's relies on the SRAM to be good. Okay, it says error on card 5, chip number U1. Press player 1 button to restart test. Can you see that? Press player 1 button to restart test. Card 5 U1.
Okay, so hopefully I can keep this sequential and everything. So we just ran Commander Dave's test ROM, and it said card 5 U1 or something like that, right? So what I figured we'd do is, this is card 5. We're going to swap them, see if the error changes. I don't think it will. So, which my theory is there's something going on with the with another card that's is why it's giving us that error. So let's swap the RAM cards. All right, RAM cards are swapped. We'll power it on. See what we get.
Press player 1 start. Says error on card 5, chip number U1. So that's what I mean. There's something going on, I would think, that's not related to the memory cards, the RAM cards. So, all right, where do we go from here? I guess we'll test Mark's test ROM too, but I think the error is going to be very similar.
All right, have Mark's test ROM in there, and if you read the README files, it details a little bit. I mean, he totally rewrote it pretty much, but it doesn't use the SRAM here at all, whereas Commander Dave's does use this SRAM here. So anyway, we'll put it in, and then we'll test it. This is a 2732 ROM board now, because I've already done the jumpers. So let's put this.
All right, so you can see the different information there, and press fire for SRAM test. And then it says DRAM test failed, slot 5, chip U1. So it's the same error, but watch real quick when I press the fire button. Watch it say U21. See, it says something about, can you see that? Yeah, it's right there. When I press the trigger button, it says something about U21. Check chip U21. But if I swap the RAM cards around, I'm going to get the same error. So I don't think it's the RAM card, or it's a failure on the RAM card. Let's swap them just one more time back to where it was.
RAM card swapped back one more time. Power it on.
Slot 5, chip U1. See, it's the same thing, and it's the same behavior regardless of the RAM card position. So have to have something wrong on the game board, I guess, or something else. Have to figure out what's goes to that chip or the memory there.